Happy Friday. So today we're going to talk about balancing your dust collection system. So a lot of times in our blowers, in more of the simple lines, we'll have a blower like this, and it is going to go up and over into a plenum, and this actually be a box like this, and then there's just a bunch of hanging filters. So this is neutral, so we're just whatever this is creating is blowing into this. So in this case, there's really nothing to balance because this is creating the pressure and this is receiving the pressure. When we talk about balancing is when we have a separate bag house. So you have a bag house room or a bag house outside, and this could be a tower bag house, outside, and we're gonna, put a break here. So this is way outside, big bag house, and now you have a big duct that's going through the building, and you're dropping down into different blowers and different stations to take from this. So picture this here being connected to this here. What ends up happening in this case is that you have this dust collector. We'll say it's 100 horsepower. And it's grabbing from all these points. Now here you have a blower, and this blower is we'll say 15 horsepower. So, and it's pushing we'll say 2,500 CFM, and this is 30,000 CFM. So now I have this here, which is a lot of power that's trying to vacuum from all these points. Depending on how open or closed these are, you're going to get more and more pressure here. So a lot of times the trunk is open on the end. They have like a balancing gate here, and what ends up happening is you want to have this here, the pressure that's vacuuming, be equal to the blower. So you don't want to be pulling more than what you're pushing into it. So what ends up happening a lot of times when I see people that they'll turn this thing all the way down, like my blower's hardly working, and this thing is. And you don't want to do that either. You really want this to be doing the work that it's designed to do, to be doing, and you want to be balancing this perfectly. So a few things. A lot of time and effort goes into making these videos, and the real goal is to get you guys as much information as possible. So if for some reason there's some information or some questions that are unanswered still, put them in the comments below. I'll try my best to answer every question. And if you want a quote on any of the equipment, the link is in the description below. Thank you. A few different options. The one that is the simplest that I like to use is just a Y valve in here. And the Y valve can have a slide gate on it, you open, close, or it can have a butterfly valve that just opens and closes. They even have weighted ones, and they even have automatic ones, to where it's able to detect the pressure differential between here and here, and it opens this up to balance it, to make sure that the pressure is the same, and this opens and closes this valve to let fresh air come in. So what happens here when you're doing it yourself, when you're just say you have a butterfly valve and you want to balance it, you'll put a string or a sheet of paper, just like a little piece of string, like what holds a balloon up is perfect. You hang that there, and when you have your blower on and you have this off, you're going to notice this string is kind of blowing in the wind. You want to get that string to be slightly coming in. You don't want it pulled in all the way. That means you're pulling too much here. And you don't want that string to either be blowing outwards. You want it kind of neutral. You're trying to get no airflow coming through this way and very minimal airflow going this way. If you have too much air coming in this way, you want to adjust this valve here. So that's one option. Some people put and I think it's not as safe on the blower side, but they'll put these valves that go here, and they have like a collar on it with circles in it. And these circles, there's like 3 or 4 circles going all the way around. And this whole collar can spin and open these circles as it goes. What happens there is that if you have material coming in here at high velocity and it's going through that pipe, there's a chance of it coming out of those holes. So you want to be careful where there's high velocity material, to be really careful, especially if you have something where it's pushing. So you have a pushing and pulling. This is probably not the safest to do. Now, I do see a lot of our customers installing these above the air tables, and that's perfectly fine on the air table, because on the air table you don't have a crazy amount of pressure blowing up. It's more of just a ambient air that you're trying to pull from the top, and then this would work good for that. But in the blower scenario, the 90 or the Y pipe is really what I would recommend. And you can get fancy with this. You can have all kinds of different balancing ones. Some people just put a weight on it, and you can adjust the weight, or you can just do it manually. Once these are set, and you have to do this for every blower in your system. And remember that if you have this blower here, so if you have this blower here and you balance it, and you go over here and you have another blower over here that's tied into this. Now, when you go and adjust this blower and close this damper or open it, it's gonna change this here. So you're gonna have to keep coming back until they're all perfect. So this takes a long time. When you're setting up a huge system that has 15, 20 blowers in it, it takes a long time to balance out the whole system because you're continuously going. So the best thing to do also when you're doing this is make sure that your trunk is open on the end, that you have some ambient air coming in. This also helps with material that comes in and that wants to settle in the pipe, right? So I've seen some people that want to take this down, like, oh, I'll just run my blower at 20%. Well, you be careful, because if you do this, then material, when it comes in, it loses that velocity, and it just, in between these points, it's going to settle, and you can have mountains of material in here. It can be, it can clog your machine, which really stinks, but also, more importantly, it's a huge explosion hazard. Now you have this fine particle dust that's just sitting in the pipe that's not moving. And also, if you turn on the machine, you increase your throughput, put this up from 20 to 80%, all of a sudden you can overwhelm your dust collector and your bags and your filters with all this air coming in at once. Because we're talking about dust collectors, when you're dealing with wire or battery recycling, you really want to stay away from cartridge filters. Cartridge filters in our industry, wherever there's fluff, is a big no-no. I mean, those filters will get completely clogged and they'll collapse. We've seen a lot of customers that have decided to go that way, even though we've recommended bags. Bags take a lot more space, which is why a lot of times customers will try to go to the filter, because you can save on space. It's not as tall, it's not as big, and it's slightly cheaper. But the bag house that has hanging bags or the pouch bags that have enough space in between them, that's really the direction that you want to go. It takes up more space, but then it won't bridge on the pleats, because there's no pleats in it. It's just hanging bag. So hopefully that's helpful. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one. Happy Friday.